Welcome to the 2020 New Testament Challenge. Today we're in Revelation chapter 7. We're in the beginnings of the Great Tribulation. The Great Tribulation started with chapter 6. Now there are three series again of judgments that are coming upon the earth. There are 7 seal judgments, there are 7 trumpet judgments, and 7 bowl judgments. As we're going through these chapters of Revelation, there is also breaks within these where more information is given, almost like a parenthesis. That's what happens in chapter 7. In chapter 6, 6 judgments are proclaimed. And then a question is given at the very last verse of chapter 6. And that is, "For the great day of their wrath is come, who can stand?" Chapter 7 answers that question, and it's a parenthesis. It's between the seal 6 and seal 7. In chapter 8, the 7th seal is broken. But here we have that question answered. Who can stand amongst the midst of all of the judgment that is coming? Well, 2 groups of people are talked about. One are 144,000 that are sealed, and a great multitude that is in heaven. Here in chapter 7, 144,000 people accept Christ during the Great Tribulation. It even says who these 144,000 are. They are Jews. They are tribes of Israel. There are 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. So if you're going to be a part of the 144,000, you have to be Jewish. And so these are Jewish messianic believers that are saved during the tribulation. They have seen the rapture take place of the church. And so millions and millions have left without a trace. And so then they probably hear the message that is left from the church. And they believe that Jesus was the Messiah. And so they accept him as Savior. They become messianic believers. And they become evangelists. And so during the tribulation period, there are 144,000 Jewish people that have gotten saved that are now evangelists, and they are traveling all around the world evangelizing every person. Not only that, but as we will read a little bit later, there are 2 witnesses that also are evangelizing. Well, these evangelists bring about a great number of people, Gentiles, that accept Christ, and Jewish people that accept Christ during the tribulation. But there are also a great number that are there in heaven, a great multitude. It says in verse 9, John, "After this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and in front of the Lamb." These are those that are now in heaven. And it says, continuing on, "They were wearing white robes and were holding palm branches in their hands. And they cried out in a loud voice, 'Salvation belongs to our God, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb.'" As we read chapter 7, we understand that heaven will be a multicultural place. There will be people from every nation, tribe, language, and people from every color, every ethnic background. They will be there from every nation on earth, speaking their own language. So when we get to heaven, we're going to be hearing every language on earth. We're going to be seeing every type of person. They'll have a brand new body, but they will be the same ethnic origin as they were here on earth. And all of us together will be worshiping around the throne. And together we will be shouting, "Salvation belongs to our God, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb." We will all be worshiping Jesus together. And so the answer is given to the last verse in chapter 6. Who can stand? Those that believe on Jesus. They will be able to stand. Those during the tribulation and those in heaven. So here is something that we all need to understand. People will be worshiping Jesus. People will be getting saved during the tribulation and before the tribulation. But we really do not want to wait for that time, because as we read during the Great Tribulation, it's the worst time on earth. It will be like hell upon earth. There will be people that get saved, but it will be very difficult. There will be great tribulation. There will be great persecution during that time. There will be many martyrs taking place during the Great Tribulation. People, yes, will get saved, but many will harden their hearts as we read through this Great Tribulation period. You do not want to wait for that time. So what you need to do now is accept Christ before the tribulation begins. One day, we will hear a trumpet call, and we will all be raptured up, and then the tribulation will start. We don't know when that's going to be. It could be any day, but we need to be ready now, because there is no guarantee that those that are going through the Great Tribulation will have the opportunity. We already read that 1/4 in one of those seals will be destroyed by sword, by plague, by wild beasts. There might not be an opportunity to get saved. So the best time to get saved is now. Today is the day of salvation. If you've never accepted Christ as your Savior, I would be honored to talk with you. Just reply to this message or email me. I would love to talk with you and give you more information. Thank you for joining the 2020 New Testament Challenge.